If you have been shopping around for a home battery system, you already know the sticker shock. Prices for a single unit often start around $10,000, and once you add installation, permits, and electrician fees, many homeowners end up spending $15,000 to $20,000 just to keep a few lights on during a blackout. That is a massive amount of money for something that, in most cases, only powers your home for a handful of hours. Today, we're going to talk about a smarter alternative that thousands of homeowners are quietly switching to, something often called a solar power tank. It is a do-it-yourself solar generator setup that can store just as much energy, sometimes more, for a fraction of the price of a name brand home battery. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why commercial home batteries are overpriced, what a solar power tank actually is, and how you can build one yourself this weekend without hiring a single contractor. Let's start with the real problem homeowners are facing. Traditional home battery systems are sold as an all-in-one solution, but that convenience comes with a huge markup. You are not just paying for the battery cells inside the unit. You are paying for the sleek branded casing, the proprietary software, the mandatory professional installation, and often a required subscription just to monitor your own energy usage. Many of these systems also lock you into using their specific inverter and app ecosystem, which means if one part fails, you cannot simply swap in a cheaper replacement part. You are stuck calling the manufacturer and paying whatever they decide to charge. On top of that, a lot of homeowners do not realize that these systems degrade over time, just like a phone battery, losing a noticeable percentage of their storage capacity every single year, which means that expensive investment slowly becomes less and less useful. This is exactly why the solar power tank concept has become so popular among homeowners who want energy independence without going broke. Instead of buying one sealed, proprietary unit, you build your own battery bank using individual components that you can source separately, often at wholesale prices. The heart of a solar power tank is a set of lithium iron phosphate battery cells, commonly known as LiFePO4 batteries. These are the same type of battery chemistry used inside many premium home battery brands. But when you buy the raw cells yourself and assemble them into a battery bank, you skip the massive retail markup entirely. A homeowner can often build a power tank with the same or greater storage capacity as a name brand system for a third of the cost, sometimes even less. So what exactly goes into building one of these solar power tanks? There are four main components you need to understand before you start. The first is the battery bank itself, made up of your LiFePO4 cells wired together to reach your desired voltage and capacity. The second is a charge controller, which regulates how much power flows from your solar panels into the battery bank so you never overcharge or damage the cells. The third is an inverter, which takes the direct current stored in your batteries and converts it into the alternating current your household appliances actually use. And the fourth is the solar panels themselves, which capture sunlight and feed power into the entire system. When these four pieces work together inside a simple, well-ventilated enclosure, sometimes literally built inside a large plastic tank or a sturdy weatherproof box, you get a complete home power backup system that rivals anything sold in stores. Before you start building, it is important to figure out how much power you actually need, because oversizing or undersizing your solar power tank is one of the most common and costly mistakes homeowners make. Start by making a list of the essentials you want to keep running during an outage. This usually includes your refrigerator, a few lights, your Wi-Fi router, phone chargers, and maybe a sump pump if you live somewhere prone to basement flooding. Add up the wattage of these items, which is almost always printed on a label on the back or bottom of the appliance. Multiply that number by the number of hours you want backup power to last, and you will have a rough estimate of how many watt-hours of storage your power tank needs. Many homeowners find that a system in the 5 to 10 kilowatt-hour range comfortably covers their essential needs for a full day or more, which is very achievable to build at home. Once you know your target capacity, sourcing the components becomes the next step. Lithium iron phosphate cells can be purchased in bulk from reputable battery suppliers, and many homeowners choose pre-built battery packs that already include a battery management system, which protects the cells from overcharging, overheating, and short circuits. This battery management system is non-negotiable. Do not attempt to build a power tank with raw, unprotected cells if you're not experienced with electrical work, because safety always comes first when you're dealing with stored electrical energy. For the charge controller, an MPPT controller, which stands for maximum power point tracking, is worth a slightly higher price because it extracts significantly more usable energy from your solar panels compared to older, cheaper controllers. For the inverter, choose a pure sine wave model rather than a modified sine wave model, since pure sine wave power is safer and more compatible with sensitive electronics like laptops, medical devices, and modern appliances. Now let's talk about assembly, because this is where the solar power tank really starts to come together. Many homeowners choose to house their battery bank, charge controller, and inverter inside a large rugged tote or a repurposed cooler-style tank, which is where the nickname power tank actually comes from. The enclosure needs proper ventilation, since batteries can release a small amount of heat during charging and discharging, and you never want heat building up in an enclosed space. Mount your charge controller and inverter securely, keep your wiring neat and properly gauged for the amount of current flowing through the system, and always include a fuse or circuit breaker between your battery bank and your inverter as a critical safety measure. This single fuse can prevent a small wiring mistake from turning into a house fire, so do not skip it, no matter how tempting it is to save a few dollars. Once your power tank is assembled, connecting it to solar panels is straightforward. Most homeowners start with 2 to 4 solar panels mounted on a roof, a shed, or even a portable ground mount that can be repositioned throughout the day to catch maximum sunlight. The panels connect to your charge controller, which feeds regulated power into your battery bank throughout daylight hours. During a power outage, or simply during peak electricity pricing hours, if your utility charges more at certain times of day, you can then draw power from your inverter to run your essential appliances, all without paying a cent to the power company and without relying on a single expensive proprietary unit. One of the biggest advantages of building your own solar power tank rather than buying a commercial home battery is repairability. If a single battery cell degrades after several years of use, you simply replace that one cell rather than replacing an entire $10,000 unit. If your inverter eventually fails, you can buy a new one from any supplier without being locked into a single brand's ecosystem. This modular approach means your investment lasts far longer and costs far less to maintain over its lifetime. It also means you can expand your system gradually. Start with a smaller power tank this year and add more battery capacity or additional solar panels next year as your budget allows, rather than being forced to buy an entire expensive system all at once. Maintenance for a solar power tank is refreshingly simple compared to what most homeowners expect. Lithium iron phosphate batteries are known for their long lifespan, often lasting several thousand charge cycles before showing meaningful capacity loss, which can translate to well over a decade of reliable use with basic care. Keep the enclosure clean and dry, check your wiring connections a few times a year to make sure nothing has loosened, and periodically clean your solar panels of dust, pollen, and debris so they continue operating at peak efficiency. Unlike a lead-acid battery system, which requires regular watering and careful monitoring to avoid damage, a properly built Life PO4 power tank is close to maintenance-free, which is a huge relief for busy homeowners who do not want another chore added to their weekend routine. Safety deserves its own moment of attention here, because while a solar power tank is a fantastic money-saving project, it does involve real electrical components that must be respected. Always use properly rated wiring and connectors sized for the current your system will carry. Never mix old and new battery cells together in the same bank, since mismatched cells can charge and discharge unevenly, creating stress on the weaker cells. Keep your power tank away from direct exposure to rain unless it is specifically rated for outdoor use, and always include ventilation to prevent heat buildup. If at any point you feel unsure about a wiring step, it is worth consulting an electrician for that specific portion of the build, even if you are handling the rest of the project yourself. A small consultation fee is nothing compared to the cost of a house fire or a ruined battery bank. When you compare the total cost of building your own solar power tank against buying a commercial home battery system, the savings speak for themselves. A homeowner might spend somewhere between $2,000 and $4,000 building a robust do-it-yourself system with several kilowatt hours of storage, solar panels included, compared to the $10,000 to $20,000 price tag of a comparable branded home battery installation. Multiply that difference across a neighborhood of homeowners, and you can see why more and more people are turning away from expensive proprietary systems and toward building their own energy independence from scratch. Beyond the financial savings, there's a genuine sense of satisfaction that comes from understanding exactly how your home's backup power system works, rather than depending on a black box you cannot repair yourself. If you are a homeowner who has been putting off a home battery purchase because of the overwhelming price tag, this is your sign to consider the do-it-yourself route instead. A solar power tank gives you real energy independence, protects your home during outages, reduces your monthly electricity costs, and puts the control back in your hands rather than in the hands of a manufacturer charging premium prices for convenience. Start small if you need to, learn the basics of your system, and expand it over time as your confidence and budget grow. Your wallet and your peace of mind during the next storm or blackout will thank you for making the switch away from overpriced home batteries and toward a power tank you built yourself.